Right. Namaste once again. Yeah, so we started recording. I will wait a couple minutes more just in case anybody joins because it's only 5:32. But that's it. Priyaji, so far, what's happened? I haven't been seeing your reports regularly, though you did send something today. But otherwise, generally, how are things going for you? And Lakshmi ji?
I've been sending reports.
I know, I saw your report, but brief report, yeah.
Yeah, because daily the same thing. So I don't know what to
Fair enough.
send.
So no
But,
new.
No. Experience is new. What to say? Like every other day, it's getting a little more deeper. And as I said yesterday, I tried with Mudra, Adi Mudra.
Which one? Agni Mudra.
Adi Mudra.
Adi Mudra. But when you do this suppresses your fire, doesn't it?
It's not very hard. So like I don't know. It was so. I thought, okay, we're just keeping it. Okay. Normally, I used to keep it
yes.
in this
the Gyan Mudra.
Yeah. So suddenly yesterday, I thought, okay, why don't I give a try with this? It was no harm. Really.
Yeah, you must experiment. You try these things. See what comes up. What comes into your experience, and based on that, see, that is how you grow. What is a scientist? A scientist is one who observes. He observes and he comes to he gets a certain insight through his observations. Then he replicates what he has observed. A certain idea might form in his head. If that is replicated under certain circumstances, then he begins to get clarity. This is how things are, or this is how things can be, which is what a scientist does, and which is how we should be with our breath. We should be breath scientists. Every time you learn to observe your breath, every time you become a little more familiar, a little more intimate with your breath, you are coming closer to understanding it, which means you basically understand yourself. What can be a bigger science than an individual's ability or clarity in seeing himself the way he is? What bigger science can be there? No? Anyway, so that is good. No problem with that.
And the other day, as you suggested, when we joined this with Om chanting, especially it helps very much while exhaling. I mean, long breath while exhaling. So we get a lot of time to observe each and every chakra, the lotus opening. When we combine it with Om, especially while exhaling, because while exhaling it is easy to not like chanting. We are not using it outside. Like inside while chanting Om, it is really very nice and very lengthy exhalation process. So it's taking us very deep.
You mean the ajap, where you don't say it, you don't make the sound, but it's inside. Okay.
It's inside.
Fair enough. But what I wish to really know is how good is your lotus opening coming along? What are the breakthroughs you are getting as far as lotus opening is concerned? That's a very, very powerful segment that that has been introduced to you over the last few days. How well it's coming into your system will in many ways determine how you are able to use it in the days ahead. I have shared a few things with you. I've not been able to share many of the deeper aspects of the Lotus Opening Program, but I've included some so that your experience of the Tridosha balancing becomes a little more obvious, a little more easy to observe. But any reduction in the Kapha related conditions, have you noticed anything?
That's what actually I don't have a Kapha body, but Pitta and Vada is a bit higher. So that way, what I observed is bowel movement has increased, which is a real good sign as far as my body is concerned.
Because the more fire in the body, yes.
It can happen only when I do my yoga practices regularly. Normally. So that is happening with this practice itself. Since I'm not able to do more of physical exercises, but
Because of injuries.
so I could see a balance, and this is physically and mentally. Mentally, a lot of things. I mean, there's a lot of balance settling in.
Okay, very
The
good.
day
So I
really,
need.
I don't know how to express it.
Okay, so let me go to a few other participants because otherwise we'll spend too much time on this. Right. Snehaji, I know you've had a few very interesting breakthroughs. You've shared your experience in a video as well. Would you like to share anything else?
No, nothing much after that, because
Your breathing.
yeah, I mean, breathing is getting better. I mean, no doubt with that. But it's just like today, I didn't had that good day, or maybe I was a bit stressed in the morning, and that I immediately felt I was not able to focus on my breath.
Jaldi karte rahiye. Today is the second last day. Tomorrow is the last session. But I just want you all to become a little more familiar. So I'll just talk to you for a few minutes more. But then after this, we'll do the whole set, starting with the freehand movements and combining the latest breath work that you have learned, which is what we are going to do. But today in the afternoon, I asked a question about, has anybody noticed any change, any improvement in their finances after starting this program, especially after the Lotus opening? If anyone has noticed, please do share. Snehaji, did you notice anything? Any change in your?
No, I haven't experienced that.
No problem. What about the others? Sridharan ji, Lakshmi ji, Sangeeta ji, anyone else?
Not experienced, Vijay.
Sorry?
Regarding this, I have not experienced.
No observation? Okay, doesn't matter. No problem. Lakshmi ji, Priya ji, Vijaya ji, anything you've noticed, anything that's come to your attention that your finances seem to be a little more easier, or they're flowing in a little more, anything of that sort? Because a couple of people have brought this to my attention. Therefore, I'm just trying to understand how many are getting this response. Because if there is a certain level of response, if there's a certain level of feeling that there is a marked, there is a change, then I would like to share it with more people. But it depends totally on what people's experiences are. Priya ji, Lakshmi ji, anything you've noticed? Sangeeta ji?
Sir, what I noticed is like maybe our perspective changed. My perspective changed because that negativity is slowly it is decreasing. It has drastically decreased.
No, but what about the flow of finances? Is there a change? Is there a change that you can actually visibly feel or see?
That way, I would say it's not like physically like nothing. Okay.
I think
No, it might take some
give it a little more
Okay.
time and observe, another week or two.
Okay, no problem. I think that's fair. So basically, I think what you are trying to say is that you have felt something, but you cannot say that with certainty yet. Is that right?
Yes,
Is
sir.
that fair?
Actually, there's a new venue opening up. It's just a beginning.
Okay, great. And I hope Hanumanji will help you open it. Because this program is very closely related to Hanumanji. See, the central breath in this technique is the Hanuman master breath, where you channel your breath up the spine. But anyway, I'll leave this much for now. But I'm glad you shared even this much. But do share with me over the next few days or week or 10 days, whenever you feel that there is a little, difference in the financial flows and so on.
30 days time, it will surely be there, sir. That's what, the hope has increased, and it is not just a illusionary sort of a thing. I could feel it, but again, physically.
Yeah, so there are certain signs, but when these signs actually begin to show, then please do share with me, because I would really love to share something like this that can help people, see, a lot of people go through some very, very bad or very tough financial challenges. In many ways, it ties them up badly. So if they're able to do something like this and come out of this slowly, not immediately, not overnight, but a few weeks, a month of practice, if they're able to come out of it, I think that will also be a great service I'll be able to do some people. So I'd
Sure.
love to do that. Thank you so much. Sangeeta ji, you were saying something that you needed to see a little more. Is that right?
Yeah. Regarding the financials, like maybe a couple of more weeks to feel ki, okay, there is some change in it.
So
I
you
think
might
it's
say that
too
there are
soon.
green shoots. You can see some green shoots, but there is no confirmation as yet.
No.
Okay, fair enough. Fair enough. What about your lotus opening? How well is that happening? The lotus opening?
Lotus opening, I think, is happening because last 2 days, like I had wrote, like I'm getting a lot of phlegm and a cough, and even like my chest has been feeling kind of heavy, like it's full of phlegm and it all wants to come out, kind of a thing. That is what I'm. Even my breathing has been at times gets a little difficult.
I'm surprised because if the lotus opening has happened, then the phlegm will actually come out. It'll
No,
help that
phlegm
phlegm
is
to come
coming
out.
out. Phlegm
Yeah.
is coming out.
So then if the phlegm is coming out, then that means the breathing should become lighter. It should become easier if it is coming out.
I feel that still more to come out, or maybe it could be due to some other reason also. I don't know, but phlegm is coming out.
Yeah, phlegm is coming out is good.
Yeah.
And the more you continue with the lotus opening, the more it's like, you widen the passage for the phlegm to move. So as you do that, the phlegm moves out faster. Therefore, your breathing, will become lighter, smoother. So that's a wonderful thing. You must continue with that. Please remember one thing: 72,000 nadis in your body. We have no idea how much phlegm is there. Phlegm is not only in the chest. Phlegm is not only in the lungs. It's spread throughout the body. Some phlegm is necessary. It's not as if phlegm is only bad. Some phlegm is necessary for the body, and there's no problem with that. The problem is when the phlegm comes in the way of your functioning well. So, for example, if there's too much phlegm collecting in your lungs, that affects the quality of your breath. It's a sure sign that something needs to be done. And of course, there are other aspects as well. But that leave it there for the moment. Keep throwing out the phlegm. That is important.
Yeah.
See, we are on the wrong side of 50 or whatever, 50 plus and so on, 60. We have done enough damage in the past, and we have collected stuff inside a body that is not good for us, that needs to be thrown out. So there's no problem with that. Keep working on it, keep throwing it out. Yes, Sridharanji?
I have a question also.
Sorry, yeah, go on, Sridhar.
We are doing what? How do we feel? The difference between one. You said that you, like when you're passing your urine and all, you feel that kind of a thing, and it keeps you move it up. And the lotus opening. What is the difference?
No, you haven't understood the point. The point I tried to make was when we urinate or when we defecate, it's not as if there is a visible opening or there is a large change.
Yeah.
It's a very subtle. It's almost imperceptible, but the change happens. When that change happens, something passes out. The urine passes out, the feces passes out, and passes out with relative ease. So it's just the only reason I wanted to say that, or I said this, is because it gives you a perspective. Because otherwise, how do you understand how to start that easing process?
Okay.
How do you understand how to allow that dilation to happen? So therefore, I gave this example.
Okay.
Just as it happens here, you allow this little easing, this little dilation to start at the Muladhara, and then let it build up. What's the Swadhisthana, Manipura?
And for the lotus opening, how do you know, like feel that your, the lotus is
Like I said earlier, when you do it, if your breath becomes easier, if your breath becomes a little subtler, it's a clear sign that your lotus is opening.
Lotus is opening.
Why? Why do I say that? Because in the way I have seen this, understood this, and worked with this, it's it's almost like your sushumna is being expanded from the inside, as if something is happening inside which is causing the sushumna just to dilate a little. That little dilation may be little, but it's very effective. See, it's not a physical thing that we can actually measure in terms of dia and so on and so forth. It's nothing like that. But I do remember, I think you know that participant also, Beena Soni.
Yeah.
In the Raise Your Vibrations program, she actually mentioned that sometimes she feels that her lotus has widened by a few inches. She actually feels as if the lotus is a few inches wide, or the lotus stem is a few inches wide. So it's just a perception. What it shows, and mind you, she's a PhD on chakras, so she understands chakra work and stuff like this very well.
Yeah. She studied about chakras a lot.
Yes, and then she's talking about how she senses that the lotus or the lotus opening is effective in the sense it feels like it's a few inches wide. So it says a lot.
So the lotus opening is only at the base, at the
No,
Mooladhara, or just does it move
no.
up also?
It has to be the whole thing.
Okay, the whole,
But
it's right up to your head.
All the way to the Sahasrara. Why should it be only at the, see, Mooladhara, since we focus a little more, since we work, for example, when we pull the Mooladhara, when we raise the Mooladhara, so we are a little more familiar. It's a muscle that we can use, see, sense a little more. The others are not so evident. So, that's why you start with that, but you build it up. And of course, you will feel it. If your breath is feeling lighter, it's a sign.
Okay.
Right. Thank you. Sridharanji?
Yes, Ji.
Acha, one second. By the way, everybody else, while we are, even if I'm talking to one person, everybody else, please continue with your free hand exercises, but do that complete exercise with the last breath that you have learned. Tongue at the roof of your mouth, belly super relaxed, your breath moving down to the Mooladhara, turning up at the Mooladhara, moving up along the spine, and simultaneously you draw in the breath from the Manipura with the lotus opening. So you combine all of these and you do your free hand exercises. Even as I continue talking to one or two people, who would like to lead the free hand exercises? Somebody could do it, please. Sangeeta ji, maybe aap kariye tab tak. Sridharan ji boliye.
Yes, Ji. I feel better, Ji, now. It's very.
You wanted to say something. Kya bolna cha rahe the aap?
I think after these 2 weeks, I find much difference in my body. There is more energy is there, and I observe the movement of prana. So it is after joining this only, I find the importance of the prana.
Okay. And what about the lotus opening? How well is that happening?
And yeah, it is functioning very good, Ji. From Mooladhara to Sahasrara to Mooladhara, and from Manipura also we are doing.
Okay. Now please do your free hand exercises with the latest breath. Yeah, combine the whole breath and continue with that. Okay. Okay. Anyone else? Lakshmi ji, I think I have not spoken to you. Any observations? How's the lotus opening? Any comment on the finances? You'll have to unmute.
Yeah, I think nothing on the finances. Probably more outflows than inflows.
Okay. But
yeah.
Anything moving towards that, as if any green shoots, any signs that something seems to be changing? Doesn't matter if it's okay, doesn't matter. Pass. What about the lotus opening?
Yeah, it is okay. I don't know if it is a lotus opening, but I can feel the breath, going down, all the way down and then coming up. But I don't know how it is. Yeah.
The breath going down and from the Mooladhara moving up along the spine, that's a totally different part. The lotus opening is a different technique that was added later to add to whatever has been done. So from your response, I get the sense that you are not practicing lotus opening.
No, I am following the process that you are saying. So for me, the sensation isn't very different from when we were doing it, earlier kind of.
Okay. But you think your lotus opening is happening? You think?
Yeah, I think there's something happening, but I don't know whether it's happening all the way up or so. Yeah.
चलिए कोई बात नहीं. All right. Thank you. Okay. Vijayaji, if you are able to talk, fine. Otherwise, maybe later. I know you are on the way somewhere. So continue with this for some time. Remember to, dilate the lotus, open the lotus, and observe the change in the quality of your breath. You might also actually notice different sensations in different parts of the body. Observe them. Be aware. Learn to correlate. कि ये करने से ये हो रहा है. So you can build on that. Mamaji, may I speak to you for a moment?
Yes.
Ji Mamaji, any experience of the lotus opening so far?
No, not at all. None.
None at all. Okay. ठीक है. Fair enough. But do you think you are able to do the lotus opening? That expansion, the dilation?
No.
You are. So when we keep our bellies in particular super relaxed, and as we do, what I call the bottling, the ballooning technique, and sometimes I also call it the bloating. Allow a little bit of these, and then try the lotus opening along with these. Hopefully, you might feel a little more difference, a little more ease if that happens. So that's good if it happens. If it doesn't happen, no choice. And today is our penultimate day, 9th. Tomorrow, of course, will be our final session. I actually wanted to take you a little deeper into the last breath work that we have done. The drawing in from the Manipura and channeling it in a certain way. But I don't think everyone has kept pace with the lotus opening enough for me to go deeper. So we'll leave it for some other program, some other practice in the future. For now, continue with this much. The important thing to observe is the changes as far as the Kapha Dosha related issues are concerned. So if you find that your Kapha Dosha related issues are getting better, if you're expelling a little more phlegm than before, if your breathing is becoming easier, lighter, like in the case of Snehaji, she has mentioned, and that is, see, hers is a beautiful experience because she's had some very, very serious issues as far as her breathing is concerned. And earlier she actually had trouble even breathing with her nose, through her nose. And so she's overcome quite a lot of those. And that's nice, that's wonderful. But depending on how intensively you are going into the practice, you will actually begin to see how much the quality of your breath can change. The more the quality of your breath changes, the easier, smoother, lighter it becomes, the better. Sridharanji, you are supposed to be exercising, not lying down. Sridharanji, you are supposed to be exercising.
Yes,
You have to do the exercises, don't lie down.
yes.
Please don't lie down. Ye Ramalingeshwaraji, who's this? Can I talk to you, Ramalingeshwaraji?
Sir, yes, sir, yes, sir. It is Ram Lingeshwar.
I don't think I've seen you in the program before.
Sir?
I don't think I've seen you in this program before. Have you come before?
Yes, sir. I became 1 or 2 days I came, sir. That some problems will become, sir. That's why I am not unable to join, sir.
So then, if you try to join now, you will really learn nothing because
Okay, sir. Thank you.
we have been going one step by step, adding one thing and so on. So if you
Okay.
try to, okay.
Okay, sir.
Okay, thank you.
Right. Thank you, sir.
Vijayaji, whenever you are free, some responses from you, please. Whenever you are available. Same breath. Tongue stays at the roof of your mouth. You may engage your perineum when you are breathing in. Channel your breath up the spine. Remember the lotus opening and remember the Manipura breath. Channel it up. If you can channel it up into the Manipura and the Anahata regions and so on, hopefully you will begin to create conditions of easier or lesser Kapha dosha in this part of your anatomy, hopefully. But obviously, this is a slow process. It's not as if in a couple of days you will see huge results. But as you continue and as you continue longer and deeper and combine the whole thing, you will see some very, very obvious changes in your constitution and difficulties connected with Kapha dosha in particular. So you need to do this while you are doing the freehand exercises, and of course, even when you do the breath work on its own. Now, just as in my other breathwork programs, I try to bring the participants to a point where they have one final breath. The final breath is actually a combination of many different techniques, all aimed towards giving a certain outcome more particularly. In this case, in the Tridosha balancing, the final outcome obviously is a little more of the dosha balancing or the Kapha Dosha Nivaran. And there are other aspects, which I've been discussing with you, some of the financial aspects, for example, also. Unfortunately, Shvetambara ji is not here. Shvetambari ji is not here today also. But a few days ago, she had mentioned how there was a very, very sudden and clear difference in her finances and how she was able to actually repay a loan that she did not expect to be able to repay. So this looks to be working in that direction fairly well, but I'll also need a little more feedback from some of you, especially those who've done the lotus opening or who participated and understood and practiced the lotus opening. So at the moment, I would say the results are in the region of 30-35%. But if a few more of you start saying in a week's time or so, then I will assume that it's probably hitting the 50% mark or thereabouts. And that can be pretty, that can be quite good actually. If 50% are getting results, in that area as well, I think I'll be very, very happy with that. If it's more, then of course, naturally, I'll be very, very happy. But I'd love to be able to share something like this with people who are challenged, for finances and for flows, income, etc. And if it starts working to help them, ultimately, they say all that we experience, all that we go through is because of our own conditions. If there are conditions in our body, in our being, which are blocking some of whatever the universe is ready to give, then we don't get it. So we need to unblock and allow these things to happen. By the way, Ramalingeshwara ji, can you come back, please? Did you get the link to this program through SVyasa? Vijayaji, are you okay now? Are you back? Are you comfortable? Can we talk to you for a minute? You have to unmute. Very good. Very good. Shoulder up in, shoulder down out. With the whole thing, including the lotus opening. Excellent. Sridharanji, I don't see you doing anything. Sridharanji, आप कुछ नहीं कर रहे हो. You can take the horse to the water. Okay.
Now I lie down and do belly breathing.
Okay, if you like. Okay. But combine the whole thing. Remember the lotus opening as well.
Yeah.
And remember to channel your breath up the spine also.
Okay. So just once when I was doing it, I was chanting and doing this breath, and I could feel a kind of a bubble or a balloon go right up,
That's interesting.
Once I felt that, yeah.
Okay, but we are not trying to make or create any bubbles, but we are only trying to get that expansion to happen. But observe whatever your body does, observe. Very good. So you may sit down, lie down, and continue with that same breath work. Keep your stomach super easy. Remember, there are many levels to how relaxed your stomach in particular can be. You will find that. You will think at a certain point your stomach is very relaxed, but over time you'll find that it's gone a little deeper. It seems a little more relaxed than it has ever felt before. So you'll see different levels of relaxation in the belly. The more your belly becomes relaxed, the better will be your experience with the breath, because the nadis are actually very subtle channels, and any kind of tightness, any kind of stiffness, any kind of resistance creates blockages for the nadis, and those blockages are what create the flow, or that's how the flows in the body are directed. So if your flows are moving in a certain way or not moving in a certain way, they have a total and direct impact on the quality of your life and experiences. Every experience of your life. In some way, without your realization, the way you are breathing is affecting every single thing you are doing in your life. Please be very, very clear about this. Your breath is actually affecting every single aspect of your life. So if your breath becomes better, if the flow of your breath becomes smoother, easier, more unrestricted, nothing to block it, that means you will be able to do or access parts of your being that you probably never were able to earlier, and so on. So you see many differences there. Lotus opening, very, very simple program, very easy, but a very, very powerful technique. So in such a simple way, it's almost as if, you have shortened your adhyatmic journey by probably decades simply by doing this lotus opening. Because like I have been saying again and again, the Sushumna is central to your adhyatmic journey, of course, but it's also central to even the well-being in your body. Every aspect of your health, every single aspect of your health is definitely and surely in some way connected with your Sushumna. So as your Sushumna flows better, functions better, and energy flows through it better, it will touch every aspect of your life. ये मेरी guarantee है. I'm not a scientist in the typical sense of the word, but based on whatever I have experienced, observed through years of breath work, I can say this with a sense of responsibility. If your Sushumna opens, widens, functions well, it's going to touch every aspect of your life in a good way, in a better way. It will make some improvements in certain aspects of your life, in all aspects of your life. So continue with your breath work for a little while. You may stay lying down for a while, but after some time, please sit down.
Hello, Rajeshi.
Yes, Snehaji.
Yeah. When I do freehand exercises, usually at that time also, and when I'm sitting and doing also, I feel like there are a lot of burps I get. And now I can understand, maybe I had lunch just 2 hours before something. That could be one of the reasons. But even in the morning time, I feel the same. So that is one observation I keep feeling every time.
See, but the more these burps come out, move through your system, move out of your system, it will impact, of course, the quality of your breath immediately. Your breath will definitely feel better, easier, but it will also start impacting other aspects of your life. So jitna ye burps, jitna nikalta nikal jane dijiye, they are obviously connected with some kind of an imbalance, dosha, vata dosh, or some imbalance over there.
Once again, I'm not able to hear anything. I think I have lost the voice. You're
Is it
able to
better?
hear me?
I can hear you, yes. What about
Okay,
the others?
I can't. Just 1 second, I'll rejoin.
Okay. I hope everybody else can hear me. If anyone can't, please tell me.
Hello?
Yes, Snehaji, yeah. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you now, yes. Okay,
So
that is
the burps that are coming, let them come. It's something that needs to come out. We don't want, anything inside that doesn't need to be here. Whether it's kapha, whether it's vata, whether it's pitta, if it leaves the body, we are happy for it. So if it's coming out, whether through the medium of exercises or breath work, jo bhi hai, nikalne dijiye. So you will find many people will find, when they start doing some exercises or when they go for a walk and so on, they tend to release or, allow passage of vata. So there's no harm in that.
okay. And when I do the freehand exercises, 2 things I have noticed. One is like I cannot focus more on breathing till the Mooladhara. It happens only to the belly level because I'm more busy with the exercise, or else there is a hand pain or something like that. That is one thing. But when I sit and do, I can easily feel the breath more and everything. But another thing, when I do the when the hands are moving up, down, I feel along with the breath, there's a circulation happening around the chest area, which might help me to remove the more of the phlegm in another way also, which I might have not noticed. But this would be definitely helping, because at the end, when the blood circulates, that's how the oxygen passes all around. So maybe after a few time, I would be able to feel more. But right now also, I can sense that.
Yeah. So passing of the burps, very good. Movement of this energy, no harm in that. Continue with this. Intensify it a little more. When you are standing and doing your breath work, allow the lotus opening to take effect a little deeper, a little more, a little deeper level. So the deeper you are able to go into the lotus opening, the freer will be your movement into the Mooladhara. See, the movement of the breath into the Mooladhara somehow is not an area that many people seem to focus specifically on. I do. In all my breath work, I'm very clear that your breath has to start moving down to the Mooladhara, except in the Shwaskosh, because in Shwaskosh, we are working on some other aspect. But other than the Shwaskosh Shuddhi Kriya, all my other breathwork programs, the first goal other than belly breathing is to ensure that the breath goes to the Mooladhara.
Okay.
Because unless, see, okay, let me explain. Each of these chakras correspond to a certain element. Mooladhara is earth, Swadhisthana is water, Manipura is fire, Anahata is air, and Vishuddhi is space. These are the 5 elements that make up the phenomenal universe. Now, in our bodies, 12% of the body is actually the physical, the earth element, that matter, earth element. 12% of this body is the earth element. 70% or thereabouts is the water element. So therefore, if your breath is not moving down to the water and the earth element, you are not being able to energize or activate those elements. So therefore, until such, in my system, in my understanding, and this is how I work, I ensure that first the participants should be able to circulate or get their breath moving down to the Mooladhara. It's only when it starts moving down to the Mooladhara that other outcomes start coming, or other goals come within touching distance or come within reach. So that's why I insist on people starting with belly breathing, learning to ease the belly breath so that the breath starts moving slowly. The freehand exercises that I have shared with you all create conditions for the breath to move down. Let me put it this way.
Okay.
They simply help you create conditions where the breath can move down to the Mooladhara with far greater ease than in any other way that I know. So even today, even after years of breath work, I do at least half an hour, 40 minutes of my exercises, freehand exercises, hand movements, coordinating with my breath work. Each time it has to go down to the Mooladhara. No, I mean, there's no way I would like to avoid that or escape that or miss that. Essential part of my routine, even if I don't do the rest of my breathwork routine, at least this much I have to do. So this is what you must do. Jitna aap karne lagoge, see, you are already beginning to see a reasonably good improvement in your health quality. In fact, आपका चेहरे में भी एक glow improve हुआ है. I don't have any people around you noticed?
Around me, I don't know, but one thing, like I already shared in my experience, I haven't still touched the nasal spray. I mean, for me, it's such a big thing because every day with only if I use the nasal spray, the next day I can breathe. If I miss that, the next morning is a clogged nose. Then again, that leads to many other things. But if that is solved, then at least I can say 30 to 40% are much better. Even that is like a big thing for me because that was not happening before.
Sure, it's a big thing. So it's a wonderful thing. Build on that. But I can tell you, Snehaji, I'm sure people around you would be noticing. Maybe they've not said it so far, but they will actually notice that physically you look much more energetic, prettier. There's a certain glow on your face. Naturally, because if you're breathing better.
I think so. They after a few times they might be able to notice because I am noticing. Because when the nose is clogged completely, when you cannot breathe, the sinus area that gets completely stretched out. Immediately when I get those sinusing, people say like you look tired or your eyes are getting stretched. But the moment that is not there, like now it is not there for some time. Okay, then the cells and everything is fine. And like I explained you about my other condition because of which I'm having this issue. That's a separate story. because there is no what do you say, medication for that. But all the way I can do something for that is this one, because somewhere I have a hope with this I might be able to overcome that also.
See, your breath work will help you overcome a lot of things. Circulate your breath, move your energy, keep moving your energy. See, अंग्रेज ने हिंदी में कहावत है, बहता पानी निर्मला.
Yeah.
है ना? So your body is 70% water. Now the water in your body cannot move physically on its own, but the energy can move through it. So as your energy moves through the whole system, through the whole body, it cleanses everything. The more it moves, the more it will cleanse everything. That is what we need to keep doing.
Okay.
So please continue with this. Intensify it a little more. ये जो मणिपुरा से breath टानते हैं and circulate करते हैं, इसको करते जाइए. You will find in time, not overnight, कि even the kapha that your body, the mucus that your body produces seems to be little less. The consistency, the amount will reduce. Wonderful. But keep in touch with me. Keep telling me, क्या improvements हो रहे हैं, क्या changes हो रहे हैं.
Yeah, actually, I've thought on that only. Like today, I told you, like I was not in that mood, or I was a bit stressed out, and there was somewhere. I mean, usually I don't touch my mobile at all, but then all of a sudden I picked up the mobile. Then I kept it again, and again started doing the rhythm, because somewhere I don't want to leave this now, because it took a long time for me to get into this habit, and somewhere it's a 30 days I have done it without stopping anything, even though there were exams and other things around. So that's what, if I continue more, then I might be able to see the differences in much more better way. Like I've seen
Yes.
50% of it just.
That's right. 50% already is a very big, it's a big number.
Yeah.
So it's very good. And also notice your finances also. If there's an improvement in your finances, I think there will be. तो उसके बारे में भी
I'll see that.
बताइएगा.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Vijaya ji, are you available, please? Vijaya ji. Vijaya ji is not available. Okay, so be it. So please continue. And before we wind up, let's do our final breath, the standalone breath. Remember, tongue is at the same thing, basically the same breath. Tongue is at the roof of your mouth. Stomach is super relaxed. Allow the bloating, and then build the aspect of lotus opening into that, so that it feels a little more evident that the lotus opening is happening well. Try to feel the lotus opening throughout the system, from the Sahasrara all the way to the Muladhara, as if the Sushumna has just widened deep inside the body. So allow that. Remember the Sushumna, as we have discussed, of course, the main part of the Sushumna runs up along the spine, but there is another part that moves down, and that also needs to be expanded. So the movement becomes better, in the U shape. So get that sense and engage your perineum. Relax your belly. Draw in breath from the Manipura and channel it up the spine. So when you are drawing the breath from the Manipura, you do not have to focus on anything as far as this breath is concerned. Simultaneously, one breath is moving from the Manipura up along the spine, and maybe you will get the sense as if these are meeting somewhere and so on. जो भी होता उसको होने दीजिए. But do this. Do this for a couple minutes. Get the flow happening. Then I'm going to take you one step deeper, which you will see after when I tell you. अभी करिए खाली इतना. Oh, by the way, how come no one is doing the blow with the mouth? The blowing out through the mouth? Sneha ji, Sangeeta ji, आप लोग gargling कर रहे हो? Are you gargling regularly?
No, I'm not gargling now.
No, no,
Because
no,
I feel like the throat is
no, no,
better.
no, please, Sneha ji, no, this is not okay, no. You have to gargle every day. There is no compromise on this. You have to gargle every day because the practices that we are doing are moving everything up along the spine. If you don't start gargling, one day suddenly you start feeling a lot of clogging here, a lot of clogging in the chest area, and then you'll feel कि अब तो कुछ नहीं हो रहा, and then you'll start panicking. No, please don't let that.
Okay.
ये practice को एकदम build it into your system. 5 minutes it takes you. I actually gargle for much longer. In fact, in my last session, I was telling you how I actually gargle with my Lotus Open. You know, when I do the Lotus Open gargle, it feels like the gargling water has gone all the way down deep into my body. But I'm not recommending it to you all because you are not professional garglers like I am. I'm a professional gargler. I've been gargling for many years. But you must gargle every day and maybe even twice a day. Chai ka pani with a little bit of salt and hot enough to tolerate, tolerably hot. Sangeeta ji, please remember, others also if you have
That is
issues.
why I must be feeling this chest may.
See, there we go. There we go.
I'm not gargling. This week I have not gargled. Last week
and then you blame me.
No, I am not blaming you at all for anything.
I know you're not blaming me, but but
I'll gargle and even Jalniti that day helped me a lot. I did a few times, but I will do it regularly now.
You must do it regularly. You must do it regularly. These are very important parts of cleansing. And see, this is cleansing connected to your pranamaya kosh, because this is the system through which your prana is moving. If your prana is in good shape, if your prana is moving better, everything about you will show an improvement. Everything, including finances. So we need to encourage, we need to aid that movement.
What about relationships?
Also, as you work on your Manipura is directly connected to your social interactions and so on. Many of us have many issues connected with social interactions and so on. And see, some of it is karmic and some of it is because you are at a certain stage of your journey. Don't let it affect you too much. Observe it. Don't let it affect you too much. You do what you need to do. Just leave it at that. Baki, accept life the way life serves itself. You know, you don't have to get hassled about things.
Rajesh, doing Kunjal Kriya is fine, right? Because I started that a month before now. It's already been a month.
See, again, beautiful cleansing process. Anything that helps you with the inner cleansing. I think in yoga, they have a term called Shatkarmas. Is that right?
I don't know because I know only Kunjal Kriya with that name because my dad does it. That's how I'm doing it.
So in the Kunjal Kriya, you take in a lot of water and then you throw it out, right?
Yes. Correct.
So that's very good. It cleanses beautifully. Isme kaf bhi bahut nikalta hai. I have never done it. So I don't have first-hand experience of Kunjal Kriya. My first-hand experience is related to gargling and Jalniti. And of course, some, wo jo put some oil in the nose.
Okay.
Nasya, I think it's called Nasya.
Nasya, yeah.
So they are all good, but Kunjal is good. Interestingly, talking about Kunjal, in South America, one of the healing processes that they use is what they call, it's a kind of a plant drug. It's called Ayahuasca. It's a drug called, it's a plant. Yeah, it's a plant or a drug called Ayahuasca. So it's done under shamans, the medicine doctors and so on. So when they take you through this, when they give you the Ayahuasca to drink and so on, over the next 24 hours or so, there is a lot of purging. So it's almost as if the body is throwing out a lot of stuff. So see, we come from the land of yoga. We understand when this throwing out, the throwing up or the throwing out is happening, naturally the chakras are being cleansed. So when these chakras are being cleansed, a lot of buried stuff comes up. So when people do the ayahuasca thing, they actually go through quite a challenging experience, because sometimes they feel old memories, terrible stuff coming up and so on. But we will understand it's because the chakras are being cleansed and therefore this buried stuff is coming up. So when you do the Kunjal Kriya, you throw up, you gently cleanse your chakras also. So do it, no harm in that. But gargling to zarur kariye, और नेति कर सकते तो वो भी करिए स्नेहा जी आप भी.
I think so I'll go with the gargling because like you said, it has to come out. But Jal Neti hasn't helped me. It has actually worsened. So I have stopped using that. I
So
did it for a month before.
Don't do it now.
Initially will worsen it. A lot of thing will come out, but then gradually it will improve.
Yeah, so don't do Jalneti if you're not very comfortable yet, but continue working on the breath work that we are doing. और 2 महीने 3 महीने बाद में एक बार फिर से experiment करिएगा. I think you'll be very glad with the experiment after a couple of months, स्नेहा जी.
Sure.
But अभी gargling तो करिए मगर. ठीक है, gargling daily करिए. 2 बार भी करते तो 2 बार भी करिए. Okay, now I want to take you to one final breath for today, which is actually the same breath that you are doing. Now you are doing that same breath, which is what? Tongue is at the roof of your mouth. Stomach is super relaxed. Your lotus is open. That means the dilation of that sushumna is happening. Your perineum is pulled up when you are breathing in. And of course, you are channeling your breath up the spine. When you draw the breath from the Manipura, you allow that breath to move in towards the back of the Manipura and the other higher chakras. So, ek taraf hone dijiye. Now, simultaneously, when you are doing this, and you will breathe out with your mouth rounded. You can make the whoo sound as well, if you like, gently, if you like. So that is the out breath. The out breath moves up along the spine also. So that much is standard, nothing new there. The only difference that we are bringing in now is we are going to do this a little more intensively, and we are going to pull the breath from the we are going to pull the breath from the Mooladhar up the spine with a little more pressure, if I can use that word, gently, just a little more pressure, not too much, a little more pressure, but your stomach stays relaxed. You keep drawing in energy, or you keep drawing in your breath from the Manipura. Come on, try it. Lotus expanded. A lot of your phlegm and other stuff will start moving up along the spine. A lot of you might feel there is something at the throat. You might want to clear. And out. Perfectly all right. Stomach very relaxed. Lotus opened, expanded. Breath drawn in from the Manipura. Perineum engaged for the in-breath. Remember, first engage perineum, then draw in the breath. The sounds are signs. There is something that needs to come out. Doesn't matter. Let it come as it comes. तो इसको अपना सारा कुछ करने के बाद थोड़ी देर ये कर लीजिएगा. If you like to go for a walk for some time, maybe start with about 40-50 times, 40-50 repetitions of this breath. Just this breath with your other movements. And then if you do it with the other breath work, start slow, build. Do not overdo it day 1. Do not overdo it day 2. Build it slowly. Observe how your body is responding. Your body is comfortable, no issues, no negativity anywhere. Build on it. Continue building on it. And many of you will find when you do this last one that you've done just now, that's slightly more pressured inhale through the up from the Muladhara. This is going to be like a vacuum cleaner on steroids for your Kapha Dosha. It's almost like a vacuum cleaner on steroids. So it's going to work very, very powerfully through the system. Any blockages connected with your Sushumna, any blockages connected, especially with the Kapha Dosha, will start clearing out beautifully. Not overnight. Pehle that movement will start happening up. Some of you might start feeling there is a little congestion in your throat. Gargle. Please continue with the gargle. Allow it to continue move up and clear. Whenever there is any sense of then something sensation, and out. Yes, any comment? Any question? Okay, so now we can do our 3 ohms and wind up for today until we meet tomorrow at the same time. Slow, deep breath in. Same breath. Thank you all. Have a beautiful evening, and I will see you tomorrow.
Thank you.
Thank you.